Hey everyone, I'm Paul with MadCap Software. In this video, I want to take some time to show you how we are using micro content with the MadCap software documentation, because I think it's really useful a lot of times to see what other people are doing. We get questions all the time, how'd you do that? Or why'd you do that? And I know that for myself, whenever I'm learning something, I like to look at what other people are doing. And because I think, hey, they probably figured some things out and it can help me. So that's what I want to do. I just kind of want to take you through some of these things that I've talked about in the other micro content videos and tell you the choices that I've made, the things that we're doing. So first of all, we are using micro content primarily for search results. So if you want to know all about that, how to do that, make sure you watch the video micro content and search results video. That's what I'm doing primarily. The second thing is field level help. Now, I don't have field level help implemented right now, but that's in the process. We are going to do that. That's another use. So I'm not really doing some of the other things. I don't have a chat bot or anything like that. That may come in the future, but that's primarily what I'm doing right now. That's what we're doing in the Flare documentation. Okay, so another thing that I want to let you know is that I've organized my micro content. This is sort of something that happened over time that I just sort of recognized that I needed to get these things organized because I had micro content search results used in different ways, depending on what people were searching for. The best way for me to explain this and to illustrate this is to show you a couple of examples in the Flare help. All right, so when I first started working with micro content, I thought it was mostly going to be steps. People would ask something and I give them a quick set of steps. And so that is one thing that I do. Like they might hear about code snippets and they want to know, how do I create a code snippet? So you search for that and you get a quick set of steps here. And I put an animated GIF over on the side, and this is all above the regular search results. So quick steps is what I call it, just because this is usually a shortened version of the full thing in the big help topic that you open. So quick steps, that's one. A second one that I use, I call mini landing pages, because most of the time people actually don't use verbs when they're searching for something. They do a lot of the times, but most of the time it's just nouns, and it's a 1, 2, 3 words. And sometimes the subject matter is so big that you're not exactly sure what the person wants. And so I do I create what I call mini landing pages. They're just like regular landing pages that you would see in documentation, kind of a starting point for a subject area, and it branches out into this and this and this, all these things. But I call them mini landing pages only because they're in the micro content. So they're kind of brief and kind of scrunched together a little bit. So something people might search for is styles. So that's a really huge subject. And this is what micro content looks like. For my mini landing page, it looks like something like this, where I'll have maybe an introductory paragraph, and then this is just a bunch of links, sort of like a menu. And then I've got all these other resources, links to those too. Because say somebody walked into a restaurant and they said, okay, what would you like to order? And they said food. Well, I mean, yeah, we got all kinds of food. What do you want? I mean, we can just start bringing you stuff. So it's helpful if you get specific with your order. Well, if somebody comes in and says styles, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff about styles. So I sort of have to give them a menu, like they give you a menu in a restaurant. So that's the purpose of the mini landing pages. And then the third thing is, over time, I just noticed that some people, what they were really after was maybe a definition, like somebody finds out about branching, so they look up branch. And here we go, just a short paragraph at the top, nothing else. Sometimes I'll add a visual element with these two, an image if I think it's useful, but that's just a definition. So 3 categories: quick steps, mini landing pages, and definitions. I'm not saying you have to do the exact same thing. It's just that over time, I've just realized those were the categories that my stuff fit into. Now, sometime soon, I'm going to be adding a fourth category, and that's going to be field level help, because as I implement field level help with micro content, I'm going to keep that stuff separate in a different, different micro content files. So now that you've seen the output, let's go into my Flare project, and I'm going to show you how this all looks and how I put it together. All right, so here is my big Flare project. This holds all of the stuff for the documentation for all of the MadCap products. And if you were to come in here and drill down resources and then micro content, you can see these are my categories. And I've got these three for pretty much all of the different products. So I've got multiple micro content files in here. And what I do when I want to create these pieces of micro content that I do, you probably you noticed when I show you the examples that I like to use these different structures, because I like the idea of having text and a visual element, maybe a movie, maybe an animated GIF, maybe just pictures, or I might need text in separate containers side by side. Depends on what it is. It's a case by case basis. And so people ask me, okay, so how did you do that? Well, I use what are called responsive layouts. This is something we added years ago. And if you go on the home ribbon, there it is right there, responsive layouts. And that's simply what I'm using. Now, I'm going to show you some templates that I use, because I put these templates together so that I could simply drag them in and just create the content within those structures. So I don't always have to recreate the structures. I just did it once in the templates and I reuse them. But before I do that, I kind of need to explain how this responsive layout thing works in case you want to do that. I know it's not central to micro content, but I use it in all of my micro content. And so I just want to give you a quick little lesson on what that is all about. You saw in the examples that I was showing you in the Flare help that it looked like I had things in different containers, and that's exactly right. So the responsive layout system is based on this thing where you have multiple cells, a row, and then multiple cells, and they can look invisible, but you can tell the content is there side by side. And the way this works is it's all based on the number 12. So the cells always add up to 12. And you give them this numerical value, and that determines the width, how much space they're taking up. So if I want to have a structure that has 3 cells in it, and I want each of the cells to have the same amount of space, it's going to be 4, 4, 4. If I want 2 cells with equal space, it's 6, 6. If I want 2 cells and the first cell is going to have 2/3 and the second cell is going to have 1/3 of the space, it's 8, 4. Or I could do something like this, where I've got a top cell and it's taking up all the space, and then underneath that are 2 cells that are equal 6, 6. And so these structures are what it might look like on a big screen. And then when you reduce the width or you look at it on a smartphone or a tablet, it might change. So these cells might stack one on top of the other. So this is all documented. If you want to learn more about it in the help, and I've got a tutorial on it and all kinds of stuff, you can learn about it. But this is really the foundation that I use as the structures for a lot of my content, and especially micro content. Back in my big Flare project and the templates that I created, I just created this folder all the way down here at the bottom. And I just named it templates, and it contains a couple of subfolders in here, and one of them is snippets. Now, normally, like everybody else, I will create my snippets and store them under the resources folder and then in the snippet subfolder. But because these are templates, they're kind of special. So I just put them here. And if you expand this, you're going to see all this stuff in here. And don't let this give you a heart attack. It looks like a lot, but it's actually very simple once I break it down. So my 3 categories: definitions, mini landing pages or MLP, and quick steps. So I've got multiple snippets in here that hold these structures. And so this first section is all these are definition templates right there. And then you go down and there's mini landing pages from there to there. And then even further down, quick steps, QS, there to there. And now that I showed you how the structure works based on the numerical value of 12, these probably make more sense to you. 444, 48, 633, they all add up to 12. Now you're going to see these extra snippets in here that have the word micro content at the end. I'm not going to go in and explain about that because this is already enough. I don't want anybody's head to explode, hopefully, from this. But I do want to show you exactly how I'm using these. So I've created these snippets, and within these snippets, I have these structures, and I've got snippets within snippets. I got nested snippets in there, and it's just a starting place for me. So when I get ready to create micro content, I will think about, I'll visualize what is the content, what do I think, what do I want to be shown as the end result? Do I want text on the left and an image on the right, or animated GIF, and how much space do I think each is going to take up? And then I'll just choose one of these as a starting place. So if I think, oh, okay, this is going to be a definition, and in this case, I want some text on the left and some text on the right, and it's going to be equally split, I'll do this definition 6.6, drag that in there, and there's my snippet. And then I just right click and say convert to text. And then I can just go in and replace this text with whatever I want. And then over on the right, this text is centered because usually this is a spot for my visual element, doesn't have to be, but I'll usually center my visual element. So the style's already on there to center it. And I usually have these banners that I'll put at the top. And they look sort of like toolbars, although they're not toolbars. And they'll have one or more hyperlinked images and hyperlinked text that'll take you to a resource like a PDF or a movie. It'll open up a movie or something like that. So this is one structure right here. Now, if I wanted to do something else, mini landing page, for example, and I wanted a different structure, maybe a mini landing page and 4.8. So there's going to be more narrow on the left and then wider on the right. And I'll drag this in here. And there it is. And I'm going to scoot that out there so we have a little bit more space. And I will convert this to text. And there's more stuff in here for a mini landing page that I create. And I may or may not use all of these things. And again, I've got nested snippets in here, so I'll convert to text again. So what I usually do with my mini landing pages, in most cases, I have these tables, and the tables represent different categories of information that someone might need when they're coming to this mini landing page. And I just thought of the ideas of general information, process, main activities, other information, other activities. And so I might use these categories, or I might delete some or change some text or whatever. And then I put links in down here. Now, normally with a landing page, I would like to insert a proxy, like a mini TOC proxy, because it's automatic. It will automatically load and display whatever is in the TOC under this thing, but that doesn't work with micro content. So it would work in a full topic, but not in the micro content. So kind of had to figure out another way. So I use links, and I will create a group of links, usually in a bulleted list, and then I'll turn that into a snippet, because I will have normally two tables, depending on the situation, but I might have two tables, one that's wider like that, but then another one down here that's just one column that is more suitable for a smartphone. And then I'll put responsive conditions on them, so that if it's on a wide screen, this table is going to show. If it's on a narrow screen, that table is going to show. And yeah, again, all these links are in snippets so that I'm not copying and pasting. I'm reusing content. That's just how I chose to do it. So that is an example of a mini landing page. Now let's undo this. And the last one, let's go in and look at the quick steps. And let's do one that's a little bit different here. We'll do that and convert to text. And so this is 1266. And so come in here and yeah, I've got this row right here. That's the 12 and then 6 and 6 right there. And I've got a nested snippet in here so I don't have to worry about formatting the list, the heading and the steps and stuff. I just replace the content. So that's really what I'm doing right now. Now, what else do I do? In addition to that, I also do single sourcing. And if you watch the video, you should watch the video micro content and single sourcing micro content, because a lot of times I want to leave out certain things in the full topic, or I might want things in the micro content only, like these banners. These banners I only show in the micro content. And in the full the full topic, this is actually part of the master page. And so it shows up in the upper right corner. So I do that with styles, with complex selectors. So if I want, actually, let me select this piece of text. If I had this piece of text right here, and this was a paragraph, and I wanted it to show up only in the, let's say I only wanted it to show up in the topic, I created a style, and I would just select topic only. And again, all of this is explained in that other video, so you really want to watch that. That's how I'm choosing to do it. I use the styles instead of doing conditions, but you know, either way works. Okay, so what else am I doing? The other thing that I'm doing is with skins, because when you create micro content, they show up in the search results, and that has a certain look and feel beyond your content. And so if I open up one of my skins, this one is for Flare, and I can control the look and feel of the micro content using this, but I only do one thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. Come in here, select the Styles tab, scroll down here till you come to the micro content stuff. It's all this. And the only thing that I really did was I changed the height. So I expanded this one, come in here to size, and this is normally 200 pixels, and I just wanted it to be taller so that people weren't always having to expand and collapse micro content that was too big for that container. That's all I did. But there's all kinds of other things that you can do, that you can control if you want. Now, one final thing that I do want to mention, because people ask me this all the time when I'll speak at MadWorld or something like that, and they'll see the micro content, and I've got animated GIFs. I like to use animated GIFs a lot. The reason is because I think they're a nice middle ground between a static image and a full-on movie, because sometimes people might not get enough from the image and they don't want to spend 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes watching a video. And so I like the animated GIFs, and people are always asking me, okay, so how'd you do that? What'd you use? Well, there's all kinds of software out there that you could use. You might even have some that you don't know about. You've already got it installed. I don't know. I didn't have anything installed. All I did was I went out to Google and I did some searching and some research. I just wanted to find something that was simple, that was free, and that looped. I wanted it to loop. And so I came across something that people recommended called LiceCap. That's a weird name. I would like to have been in the room when they came up with that name. I don't know. It's lice and then cap, because I guess you wear the cap because you got lice. I don't know, but I like that little tool. And so that's what I'm using for my animated GIFs. So again, I love micro content. It is my favorite thing in Flare. And I just wanted to take this time to share with you some of the things that I do. And these aren't set in stone. I've changed my mind over time. New things surface, and I realize, oh, I think I might want to do it this way or that way. So it's evolved, and it probably will continue to evolve. But hopefully this has been useful so that you see what I'm doing, what at least one group of people are doing with micro content. Maybe you'll get some ideas and it'll help you. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you next time.